in your perspective, what's one of the best aspects of your job?
Yeah.
Like what do you enjoy doing the most?
To be honest with you, it's being able to work with the soldiers that want to get better, and they realize that there's more than one way to do something, right? And in the military, it's very driven. This is how we've done it. And so when you're the voice of reason, when you bring in not only the evidence and the practice and the frame that they want to see, the fresh voice, I guess, if you will, you're still doing what the Army wants them to do, but it's a different take, And the common phrase that I'll always get is, I wish I would have had this, or I wish I would have known this how many years ago, or I wish I would have known this back at so-and-so. And I'll just say, basically, it's different places have different assets and different resources, like you said. And we're fortunate in Hawaii, and I'm fortunate to be in the position where we can provide a service to them that we can be a little bit more innovative and creative, because it was laid long time ago before I got there. Someone had the pioneer vision that was able to give us the platform to do that. The other thing I really, really enjoy is starting new projects and seeing them come to fruition.
Yeah.
And when they catch steam, like a school that we stood up in 2011 from a group of soldiers that just didn't deploy. They didn't deploy because they were what we call rear D. So they were the rear detachment, meaning they got left back. New soldiers got, we just took these soldiers because leadership said, hey, we need to do something with these guys and girls. What are we going to do with them? And it's turned into this big school in the middle of the Pacific that's renowned now around the Army. And it started from 7 days of just doing physical training and talking to them and doing normal soldier tasks, right? So I was working alongside soldiers. Projects like that, like, just give you a shimmer of light to say, hey, you're doing something really good, and you're starting things for the military that have been long waited for, right? It's introducing human performance from the science background, but also the practice-based evidence background, right? Getting your hands dirty. And then obviously, working with the Special Forces guys, the Rangers, and the ladies now that are coming through those pipelines, and then seeing them become leaders that are, senior leaders and doing big things. That tickles you a little bit as a coach and as an athletic trainer, because you want to see them be successful, whether they stay in or get out. I always tell them, if they're getting out of the military, I tell them, don't be afraid to email me. It's not illegal to email me because you're no longer in the military, right? That's free game. I'm like, that's something that we owe to you, I think, for serving our country. And so I always try to keep the communications lines open. And it's funny how many years, like, it's like athletes, like years down the line, they come back. They're like, hey, Neil, you remember me from 2012? I'm like, kind of, not really. There was like 10,000 of you at that time. But yeah, that's big. I think working with soldiers and seeing where they've gone and what they're doing now, and working obviously with the elite of the elite and seeing what they do, and then obviously coming back and being leaders. I've seen that multiple times. It's good to be a constant and see the change happening for the good, So there's a lot to it. There's a lot, yes. Yeah. There's
a lot that you do in your position as well. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in the near future, the next few years, either yourself professionally, personally, or anything else that you want to share?
We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but the Army's expanding the way it's thinking, right? And it's really taking on the collegiate professional model of there needs to be professionals surrounding the athlete. So again, we're taking that holistic approach, and they're moving to that, right? It's in the pilot phase right now. They're testing it at sites, and they're showing pretty good promise that it's going to be sweeping across the Army here sooner than we think. Meaning that there's going to be human performance teams surrounding the soldier, which I don't think it's fair to have a soldier that has 7 other tasks they have to do, as well as lead people, then have to think about how they're going to train their soldiers, right? I think there's more than enough resources now not only at our fingertips, but human-wise, that we can help provide that resource, So we're starting to see that creep through the Army. It started with the Special Forces and the assets and the units that have a lot of money and resources available to them, because they're the tip of the spear. And now it's trickling down to the conventional forces where the masses of the military are, right?
Yeah.
It's your support, it's your cooks, it's your logisticians, it's your finance people, it's everybody within the Army that wears a uniform. I think they deserve that service, and they're finally being able to deliver that. So I think a lot more of me and yous and individuals in occupational therapy and physical therapy and sports psychology are going to start being embedded, and it's great to see. I always joke around, it's a great time to be a part of the Army because you've been waiting for this transition to happen. Like I said, we're at 45 degrees. When we make that 90-degree full turn and we're at that full, that means that we've seen a lot of things come to fruition, to include human performance services at the front lines every day with the soldiers, and they can come to us whenever they need to. So that's big. That's on the front. Hopefully, and last week I had a talk with some of our leadership, just to share some knowledge of best practices that we're doing. Because to be honest with you, I like to think a little bit ahead of the game, and we've been doing this for 10 years with the Army. But what I've been doing is seeing what the trends are in the performance world, and then embedding it in the military world, because some things, just like in Hawaii, take a lot to get through, right? And so you kind of want to push it forward, even though it may be scary and daunting to try new things. As a professional, as a leader, as an educator, as a coach, as an athletic trainer, I think we have to be able to step out of our comfort zone and see what the options are. I think being afraid to fail is a huge misstep, right? But again, it's checking balances, making sure that you're not causing harm, obviously, but it's being innovative, it's being creative, it's trying to persuade people to do things a little bit more intelligently, rather than just following what we've always done. So there's exciting times coming ahead for sure.
There's a lot of exciting times. So I know I reach out to you a lot, and then I'm the same way, and trying to follow all of the trends, all of the resources that are available to the best of the best. Try to find how can we bring that in some shape or form to any population, right? Because that's what helps you take better care of you, right? So you can be better at whatever your career is, just be better for the people around you and everything. But